Mike Costello's in. Steve Bunce is in, of course. Where to start, fellas? How about April the 19th, Las Vegas?
Well, I suppose that is the place to start because it's the most topical, because we've had Hopkins in town the last 2 days. I took him on a tour of London yesterday. He absolutely loved it. And today Mike and I
on the top of a bus?
No, we wouldn't do the bus because we didn't want to make him cold. And it turned out it was a freak day yesterday. It was so hot. In the end, we were peeling off clothes. We got stopped by the police from filming everywhere we went. I just want to embarrass the BBC. Every single place we went, we got threatened by policemen with guns. It's just completely... And he loved every second of it. He posed with every single policeman.
No need to hard sell this fight, of course. Joe Calzaghe against Bernard Hopkins.
Not at all. And you can sense from both men that they're so comfortable in being involved in something of this stature. You know, we were at the press conference today in London, and both of these men actually were staring across the table at each other at different times while each other was talking, and so they weren't aware of each other at that stage, and they were looking, both of them, not exactly doe-eyed, but with deep respect for each other. And that's going to last all the way to the ring. Whatever you hear in terms of insults, and we've heard plenty already, actually today was quite respectful. And these are two men. At one stage, Bernard Hopkins said, "There isn't a question I haven't answered. There isn't an insult I haven't heard." And Frank Warren piped up and said, quite rightly, it's exactly the same for Joe. 40-odd world title defences between them, 20 years between them as champions. And this is a fight whereby two men have been almost on parallel paths for a number of years, and we were thinking that maybe this fight is not going to happen. You know, when it was signed and sealed, forget about the paperwork, was at the weigh-in of the Ricky Hatton-Floyd Mayweather fight, when Joe Calzaghe got up onto the stage. He got an ovation that was almost as loud as Ricky Hatton's a few moments later when he stepped on the scales, and the grin across his face said, "I want some of this."
And what had happened at that weigh-in, Mark, is that people had queued all night. For midnight, they'd queued till the doors opened at 10 and the weigh-in was at 2 in the afternoon. There were people in that room that had been in a line of some description for 12, 13, 14 hours. There were 8,000 people, and Mike and I hadn't... To be honest, we'd never experienced anything quite like it.
There were mates going back and forward to the bar, buying drinks for those staying in the queue.
Yeah, just before, I mean, I know that you've just met Hopkins. Just before we say that, which part of old London town did he want to go and see?
Funnily enough, you know what he wanted to see? He wanted to go to the War Museum. He wanted to go, where are the guns? Where are the guns? Where's this museum with the guns and the spit of fires? He wanted to see the spit of fires. I was going to take him to Birmingham because that's where the guy comes from. We invented the Spitfire. But we didn't have time.
So it's anyway, you got a sensible word out of him today, Mark.
Yeah, he had plenty of time for us today. You know, referring back again to that Hatton versus Mayweather fight, he was a very obvious presence there, was Bernard Hopkins, because he's a big part of Golden Boy Promotions now and was helping to sell that fight in a big way. And he was talking, and this was a line that was picked up by just about everybody there, about how difficult it is for a fighter to keep going when the refrigerator is full. That's the phrase he used. When you open the door and the fridge is full, what keeps you going? So he told me today that after all this time, what his motivation is to keep him going.
This atmosphere, his stare down, this confidence of his father, saying that he can do this, he can do that, and it'll be easy. All these things to me is a log in the fireplace. This is one of the things, not the only thing, that keeps Bernard fire lit. I'm at my best at adversity. I was told when I was 23 years old, with 9 years of parole to walk off, that I will be back in 6 months. 20 plus years later, Bernard Hopkins have beat the odds many, many, many times. That keeps me going because I've done it, I've overcame it, and I see what the rewards can be when you're victorious and you stick to your game plan. I'm always willing to win, even if it brings a loss. A lot of people don't want to take that chance and ride that line. Bernard Hopkins rides the line. He trains like he talks, and that's what makes Bernard Hopkins different than any other fighter. And I didn't necessarily say better. I let them dispute that, the critics and the historics. But this is what keeps Bernard Hopkins flame lit.
When you talk about the rewards, what did you get for your first professional fight 20 years ago?
What did I get as far as?
In terms of your purse?
Oh, $400 at the Blue Horizon. Yeah, they're $400 at the famous Blue Horizon in Philadelphia. And I caught a subway with my now wife, girlfriend, and I worked up my way to a championship in Atlantic City and little venues, and
$400
here I
and
am.
you lost. It's been a long
Yeah,
journey.
yeah, light heavyweight, yes, 1988. Good research, yeah.
Long journey.
Yeah, to Clinton Mitchell, long journey. A long journey in and out of the ring, politics, and you know what? The fairness, the same thing that Joe went through. I mean, Joe didn't get his reputation or his respect rather right away, and now he's starting to scratch, I can say, the surface, at least in America, who he is. This is that infomercial, but I just happen to be the one that's behind door number 3 because everybody else has been eliminated. 2 of them by me, 1 by Havoc. And you know who I'm talking about.
Sure.
So I am the last man standing to introduce him as this commercial to the United States.
So for you, it's gone way beyond money now. It's about still, after all this time, still
I'm
proving
a
yourself.
I'm competitive. I'm the Michael Jordan at his best when he won championship after championship after championship.
Right here.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I can take my body through countless of training at this level and at this age where the fire's still in the belly. Absolutely.
Mello.
You know what? I'm claiming a world record. 3 questions in 3 minutes with Bernard Hopkins.
And you know
Well,
what?
it's usually 10 minutes an answer.
Well, in fact, I interviewed him today. I was doing some filming for another company, and he gave one answer of 13 minutes 20-something seconds, and another answer of 9 minutes something seconds. But the thing is, you're not shortchanged. You get. He reads what you want.
Yeah, but what was that white boy stuff all about?
Well, both Mike and I were there. I was about 6 foot away from it, and what happened was they're patrolling around the press centre there. We talked about this press centre before. They finally come face to face. They're laughing, joking.
This is going back to the Hatton Mayweather.
So Hatton Mayweather fight in December, and Bernard Hopkins walks away, nearly knocks me over. Then he goes back. He winks at his lawyer, a guy called Arnold, who's a nice enough fellow. He goes back and he just says straight away, and by the way, I will never lose to a white boy. Now, I'm not claiming to be an after-timer, but I knew exactly what he meant. It's if you go in a gym in America where half or more of the boxers in there will be black, African Americans, that's absolutely an established fact. Talking about white boys and saying I'll never lose to a white, that's fairly standard practice. It's not racist rhetoric would be had he said, in my opinion, I'll never lose to a white man. Suddenly it starts to sound like something put out by the Aryan Brotherhood, black man, white man. It's a standard insult. It's an insult, don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure it's a racist insult.
But I wonder whether today he was beginning to realise that maybe not everybody understands in that way, Steve, that street language in such familiar terms, because it was at the press conference. I didn't ask him there because he'd already answered it at the press conference. It was his shortest answer.
Absolutely.
It was about 20 seconds, and it was clear to me that he was beginning to backtrack. And he made a reference at one stage, don't do the Clinton Obama on me.
Yeah.
And I think at that stage he was starting to realise that this is a country, the country that he waves the flag of so proudly, that might have a black president in November of this year. He can't afford to be talking like this.
Okay, well that's him. The other side, I think.